I should be live, and I think you should be able to hear me loud and clear this morning. Um, it seems that way. Mr. Steve, good morning. How are you doing? Can you just tell me if you can hear me all right after yesterday's microphone problems? I think I've sorted it. It was painful to do so, but I think I've managed it. So just let me know, and I'll wait before I go on if you don't mind typing in whether you can hear me okay. Pardon me. Maybe you're not there. I don't know. I tell you what. Oh, loud and clear. Yay. Thank you, Mr. Steve. Good morning, Reesway. I hope you're doing well this morning. I am so happy that you can hear me this morning, and that's fantastic. So I hope you're well. So over the next hour or so, 30 minutes to an hour, we'll have a look at some astrology. We'll do a collective reading, and we'll do a traditional 12 card pickup reading. Pick a card reading, I should say, and I'll explain more about that when I get to it for those of you who might be joining me newly this morning. Good morning, for Jen and Mandy. How are you doing? Right, so a little bit of a planetary overview, just a quick one this morning. We have a Sagittarius moon today, which is all about adventure. Sagittarius is one of those signs that's all about travel, adventure, new ideas. But that Sagittarius moon is also trining Venus and Neptune, which are both in Aries. So that adds a bit of frizzle and dazzle and just excitement to the whole thing. It should mean that the skies are making you feel like this confidence inside, and it's like you should feel emboldened. So it's one of those days, astrology wise, where you could step out and try something new, or you could like apply for a new job or decide on a new course of action for your life. So astrology wise, you should be feeling pretty bold today, and you should be filled with that Sagittarian. Oh, you're a Sagittarius, Mr. Steve. So yeah, you should be feeling like adventurous today, and so should you, Sonali, if you've got Sagittarius rising. It's that spirit of travel, adventure, trying new things. Always the joker, always outgoing, or usually outgoing by nature. Of course, we can't be always something or always something else. Outgoing by nature. So all the good points of Sagittarius should be highlighted for you emotionally, because the moon's very emotional as well. So you should be feeling good emotions today. I hope you are, because it's a good place to be. Okay, so we'll do a quick collective reading. So this is an overarching reading. You might find that it applies very specifically to you, or it could apply on a more global level. So that's the general explanation of a collective reading. I think it's just a nice way to actually do a reading, because the 12 card sort of pick a card thing doesn't give you that ability to weave that narrative between the ways that the cards interact. So it's like a mini reading, but you know, I struggle with the fact that when you do that, you're not sort of targeting any person individually. So that's why it's called a collective reading. But of course, if I did individual readings for everybody, then I would be here for like days and days and days. So we do the collective reading instead. So just bear with me while I shuffle it, and then we shall see what we have. Right, it feels like, right, first of all, we've got a King of Swords reversed. So the King of Swords reversed can be quite a disruptive power. And I get the feeling that this is something this is something passing. So it feels like you have passed this feeling of being disrupted by a masculine energy, or somebody that's put the block on something, or caused you upset, or caused things to go wrong. Somebody who can be quite distrustful. But it feels like this is passing as well, because this has come up as the first card in my 3-card pull here. So it feels like this is an energy that's passing, and it feels like my next card here is the 6 of Wands, which is associated with winning a battle, victory, coming out of something on top. So it feels like you might have struggled with this darker force, with this disruptive power, whether that has manifested as an actual person, as the King of Swords, or just a sort of you know, you can struggle with your own self, can't you? And that can feel quite disruptive. But it does feel like, and this ties in with the astrology today, you've got this very Sagittarian card of coming out of the battle, sort of coming home. You can see he's carrying the bouquet on his wand there, and it feels like he has been victorious. So it's like you've beaten the darkness. Let's put the darkness to one side. You're riding home from battle with that bouquet of victory, feeling much, much better and in a much better place. And that leads on to my final card in my 3-card pull here, which is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is interesting because she's very emotionally aware. She's very in touch with her feelings. She's a giving, loving person who can express herself, but also encourages others to express themselves. And it feels like, because we're going from, it feels like a bit of a journey here, because we've got this very disruptive, manipulative force that can cause quite a lot of upset. And swords as well, they're very communicative, but they can be quite repressive of emotions, because it's more about intellect, it's more about being driven by the head than the heart. And particularly in a reversal, it can feel like the emotions are repressed here, and it's disruptive, and it's a darker force. But then we have this beautiful card in the middle, which is showing you winning a battle against this dark force in some respect, and emerging as the Queen of Cups, who is this heart on the sleeve, the emotions out in the open, this positive joy, love. This is the Queen of Cups. So it feels like you have come out of this battle on top with your emotions in a far better place. So if that relates specifically to you, I really hope it does, because that's a really, really nice 3-card reading, and it's full of hope, and it's sort of, you know, it's all about, I'm going to over dramatize here, but it's like, you know, good prevailing over evil. It's that type of feeling where, you know, it's been a battle, but you've won it, and you've come out on the other side into the force of light and goodness. So that's really good. And I can see we've got a couple of new people in the chat. So good morning. Welcome to the channels. Good to have you here. And we've got Kirsty back as well. It has been a while. It's nice to see you too, Kirsty. Right. So I'm going to move on to what takes me the longest in these morning sessions. And that is, I do a 12-card pick a card style reading. I'm just explaining that for people that are new to this. So what I'm going to do is lay down 12 cards. So you can think of a question in your head and then choose a number between 1 and 12, or perhaps just you can choose more than one number if you feel drawn to. Don't feel you have to constrain yourself to one number. Oh no, not on this channel. We can have as many numbers as we like. So you can think of a question and think of a number or more than one, or you can just like clear your mind and think of a number and try to get a message from your guides or from the cards or from the energies, however you want to see it, by using that technique. Or what I started to notice, because I've been doing this every morning, I think since February now, so I'm relatively new to doing this on YouTube. I've read tarot for decades, but I started doing this in February, started doing it every morning. And what I realized was that the 12 cards often seem to be connected to each other, and you could see like a common thread going through them all, even though it was like 12 individual cards and not a connected spread. So I started saying, if you want to, just take the whole reading, take what resonates with you. But it's like there are no rules. So however you want to use the 12 cards that I'm putting down, that's how you can use them. Now I have this little camera in the corner. There's my disembodied limb there showing you. So I put this here. So when I put the cards down, if you're watching this video as a recording at a later date, you can skip through. Hi Kali from India. You can skip through what I'm saying, and you don't need to listen to my waffle, because you'll be able to see which card I'm reading by looking at that when you're skipping through the video. So you can just go at the cards that you're interested in. So let's have another quick shuffle before I lay these cards out. So I always set the intention before I do these readings to give you the energies for the next day or so. So what are the energies that are around for the next day or so? I ask that we connect with the people who are watching this video, and I ask that we bring clarity and light into the world. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look at that. I fitted them all onto the camera this morning. Things are looking up. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, okay, here we go. We're going to start with number 11. Don't know if I've ever started with 11 before. Right, so number 11. We've got the 3 of Wands reversed. So the 3 of Wands reversed can feel like there might not be any opportunities open to you, or it can feel like it's that sensation of doors closing and things being like choices being removed from your path, okay? But it's a temporary state, because the way I read reversals is that we've still got the full energy of the card, but there's a blockage. When you look at the full energy of this card, now some readers don't even read reversals, they'll just read your card as it is this way up, even if it's upside down. But I do reversals because I believe in that nuance of each interpretation. So the full energy of the card is expansion, new horizons. This guy's looking over the horizon across the sea. He's expecting things to come his way, okay? Now his plans are already put in motion, and now he's taking them further. So when this is upside down, I'm going to ask you to look at things that you have already started, which it feels now that you're being shut off from, that your opportunities have been narrowed in some respect, okay? And it's like this card is drawing your attention to the fact that these opportunities will open up again, okay? Because the full energy of the card is that expansion. It's expansion on a global level as well. So it's like it can take you in any direction. So if you're feeling that, for example, a literal example could be like, right, you've started a business and you had all these high hopes for it. And that would be like the 2 of Wands when you start something, and then you come to the point where you're gonna like make new moves and expand it further or try new things, and all of a sudden there's like stumbling blocks, there's like customs forms, or somebody doesn't get back to you, or a contract falls through. That would be this kind of feeling, all right? And the energy would be saying to you, stick with it, because it's not finished, okay? This does not mean that this project is over, because it's still in your energetic sphere. What it means is that you're waiting for this energy to return. So you're waiting for the opportunities to fall back into place in order that you continue, and in order that you continue towards those new horizons that you've established exist, okay? So keep going. Number 11. Number 12. Number 12, we've got the 4 of Swords reversed. The 4 of Swords is a card of exhaustion and rest, okay? But when it's, you see, we've got a guy and he's in his bed here and he's having the big sleep, okay? Because he's absolutely knackered. So he's exhausted, he's having a sleep. When it turns upside down, it's like he's being tipped out of bed, okay? And this card is one of what I call my kick up the butt cards, because it's saying to you, all right, you've been exhausted, yes, and you might have even been in recovery from a physical illness or just feeling really like low in energy. But now that energy is turning around and it's time for you to get out of your metaphorical bed and get moving. Because it feels like, let's go with this Sagittarius energy as well today. It's like saying to you, now is the time to throw off the duvet and jump spring-like into the world. Embrace the sunshine, embrace the people around you, and move forward with projects that you have in mind. Now, this is Swords as well, so it's about thinking, it's about communication. And it's like, if you have been sort of feeling exhausted with life and not wanting to reach out and communicate with people, now would be the time to give yourself a shake and push forward, make those connections, start to communicate with the people that you've been sort of putting off calling. Like, I'm terrible for doing that. And you know, the longer that you put off speaking to somebody, the more awkward it becomes. And so eventually you just think, oh, I'll never speak to them again just because it's too awkward. And like, you shouldn't feel like that. I know it's an awful thing to admit that, but this card would be like reminding you to reach out and to restart channels of communication. So let's say the period for resting is over, mentally and physically, and the time for reaching out and pushing forward and like embracing the spring-like energy. If you're in the northern hemisphere, we have spring going on, and it's that sort of waking out of the great slumber of hibernation, spring forward into the spring. Or if you're in the southern hemisphere, imagine the feeling of spring when everything's awakening, and that's what that card's all about. Number seven, we have, I'm looking at this card like this because I always struggle with this card to work out whether it's the right way up or not, because my eyesight's not good, and it's sort of a card that looks the same both ways up, but I have to look at the griffin things to make sure I've got it the right way up. So this is the Wheel of Fortune, and it's a card that means that you might be sort of trying to go against the flow at the moment, because it's a card that's about karmic things and things happening as they're supposed to. And when it can also mean things happening quite quickly because the wheels are turning. When it's upside down, it feels like you're a bit stuck, and it can feel like you're trying to go against the flow. So something's trying to manifest for you, but you're putting the brakes on it by not like just going along with it, just trusting that gut instinct, trusting that events are unfolding as they're supposed to unfold. So what this card says to you on an energetic level is to put your trust into the process. All right, stop trying to rationalize it, I guess. Stop trying to, we do a thing called fortune telling, no pun intended, because I'm actually sitting here doing what people would refer to as fortune telling, although I don't call it that. We have a tendency to fortune tell about our own lives, where we imagine the outcomes of things. Like, I do this myself. You'll sit and think, right, this will happen, then he'll say this, and then that will happen, then this will unfold, and then that will mean that that doesn't happen, and you sort of have this like massive narrative going on in your head about how things are going to be. And what you're doing on an energetic level there is almost closing opportunities, because remember, where your thought goes, the energy flows, and where the energy flows, the movement goes. Okay, so what you're doing, if you subscribe to this method of thinking, is that because you're imagining an outcome, you could be changing what was already set in motion. And that's what this card is all about. It's like, okay, just sit back and trust in the process, and trust the fact that you don't have to always be in like logical control. And it's like that thinking control. It's like, right, if I can just imagine how this is going to work out, then I'm prepared for it in my head. And we all tend to do that, but it can have a negative effect. So it's like asking you to be like the monks do, you know, like that power of Zen, that detachment, just detaching from what's going on and being an observer rather than somebody who's trying to force things to happen. Because this card is all about karma, and it's all about the wheel turning and things just manifesting as they're supposed to, without being pushed by your sort of thought process pushing them along. So sit back, let things unfold as they're supposed to, and stop that internal mind fortune telling, that monkey mind that always tries to work things out, always feels like it has to be in control. Let go of the control a little bit. Thank you very much, Jay. That's a lovely thing to say. Right, I'm going to go for number 9. Number 9. Oh, I like this one. This is the Hierophant reversed. Now I'm looking down here because I'm thinking this sort of connects to our Wheel of Fortune reversed as well. The Hierophant is about structure, organization, the right way to do things, the way that we've always done things. When he's turned on his head, okay, this is like the Hierophant, which is sometimes called the Pope as well. And he's turned upside down. He's standing on his head because he's unorthodox now. If you've chosen this card, or if it resonates with you, you're being encouraged, right, by your higher self or by another energy, or however you want to relate to that. You're being encouraged to try things differently. Or are you already on an alternative path, and this card is confirming for you that this is your energy. Your energy is so unique and so alternative that there could be people around you who try to make a square peg fit a round hole, who were like constantly trying to get you to do things in the way that people always have, in the orthodox way, you know, tackling problems as they tackle them, or how they are traditionally tackled, or choosing a path in life that's very traditional. Are people trying to force you to do that? And are you kicking back against it and you've chosen your own path? You walk your own path. So there's two ways of looking at this card. It's either an acknowledgement that you're on an alternative path, and it's like telling you, yes, keep going down that route because that's for you. It might be unique, it might be unusual, but it's going to work out for you. Or it could be, if you feel like, no, I'm not on an alternative path, maybe it's suggesting that you try that way forward, because we're all such unique individuals with our own unique ways of doing things, our strengths and our weaknesses, which are unique to ourselves. And sometimes trying to fix things the way that somebody else suggests is like trying to do it the way that they would do it. And their opinions are very often formed by orthodox, structured opinions of how things are done. So maybe you need to try an alternative approach. So when this card is upside down, it's very much a question of bucking the system, going against the status quo, taking on new things and looking at things with a new pair of eyes. So not necessarily subscribing to what the accepted narrative is, to looking at things differently, doing things differently, being prepared to be open-minded and accept different viewpoints as well. So it's all about alternative options when we have the Hierophant reversed. If that resonates with you, do let me know, because I love this card. I love seeing this come up because I'm all about doing things a bit unorthodox, and it's lovely to see when somebody tries that and then they get the results that they want. It's also a card that comes up when people are on a different path, when they're trying out a new thing like healing, or God, my head just went blank there. Automatic writing, or channeling spirit through paintings, or things like that. Just energy healing is something that comes up when that type of thing is in motion. And I'm just reading what for Jen's written there. Yes, we are. Yeah, you are just you. We all are so unique. And I think that from childhood, we're also forced into being like everybody else. And I think that's a lot of the things wrong with education and stuff like that these days, because it's like, right, you will learn maths, you will learn English, you will learn science, and you'll learn this is your curriculum. And there's no making up for. Some kids might be really, really bad at English, but absolutely fantastic at something else. Why can't they just focus on what they're good at? You know, we all have differing skills. And that's what the Hierophant talks about. It's like that, releasing the structure and focusing on you, what is good for you. And that might be something completely alternative to everybody else's good and everybody else's path. So that was 9, wasn't it? Number 10. Ooh, number 10, we've got the 8 of Cups reversed. So this might suggest, number 10, that you're clinging on to something that you should have let go of, okay? So you should have walked away from something or left something behind, but it feels like you've stayed too long in a situation. Hiya, Bailey, how are you doing? It feels like you may have needed to wave goodbye to somebody or something, but you're giving them headspace, or you're giving that situation headspace too, and it's unnecessary. Think about your brain as a computer processor. There's only a certain amount of hard drive and RAM that you have, that's memory. I'm going back to my IT roots there, but this is like, you've only got a certain amount in your head, haven't you? So if you keep going back and reprocessing old things, that bit of your brain's working on that when it's absolutely irrelevant and it's just taking up space. It doesn't need to be used, can be used for your future, for your present, for what you are doing now to make yourself better and to create a better world for those that you love and those around you. So this card is like, leave the past behind. It also comes up when, if you are struggling to leave a relationship, or a workplace, or just struggling to leave something behind, just struggling to let go of something. And you see, when this card is up the right way, you've got this guy striding away from these cups and they're not kicked over. So he's still, they're still there. These things are still there. They still exist, but he's walked away from them and he doesn't even look back. Yeah. So he's like, wow, I'm heading for the mountains. Always remember, I feel like I say this every day, but when you see mountains in tarot, it's because you're supposed to climb to the top of them and then look back over your life with that objective viewpoint. So you're looking down on it and you can go, oh, yeah, well, that happened. And I was upset about that, but I'm not now because I moved on and better things occurred. And your view is always better from the top, isn't it? So this card, when it's upside down, it's like, please let go of those things that are holding you back. Stride towards the mountains, climb them, and look back on where you've come from because you've got better places to be. Okay. We might as well stick with the top row, since as I've seemed to have done that without thinking about it. So we've got number 8. Okay, number 8 is the 9 of Pentacles reversed. So this can talk about problems with security at home a little bit. It can sometimes, this comes up funnily enough when there's like a domestic problem, like, you know, like with the plumbing or with the heating or with the electricity or something like that. If there's a problem around you in the home, the 9 of Pentacles reversed will sometimes come up. It can also mean projects which have failed to get off the ground, and you sort of get that sinking feeling where it's like, this is a bit disruptive. The alternative interpretation of this card, and the reason that I give you an alternative at times with cards, is that this is just one card that I'm reading, and sometimes cards have multiple meanings, and without context, which will be created by other cards around this card in a spread, it is impossible for me to know which meaning is relevant. And I would be completely lying to you if I told you that I knew, because I don't from one card. So I'm going to give you the alternative meaning to this as well. The alternative meaning with this card is that you're relying on somebody else to make decisions for you, when really, see, our 9 of Pentacles lady here, she is independent. She is an independent woman. She makes up her own mind. She makes her own decisions. She looks after herself. She pays her own bills. She doesn't need anybody else, okay? So when she's upside down like this, it's like saying, hey, you don't need anybody else. You don't need somebody else to make these decisions for you. You don't need somebody else to pay your bills. Metaphorically, it would be nice to have other people to pay our bills, I have to admit, in real life. But metaphorically, you don't need somebody to pay your bills. Yeah, you know your own mind. You make your own decisions. So we've got two quite different interpretations of that card. So we can have, good morning, Susie Q. I hope you're all right this morning. So this could be problems around the house, problems with your home or garden, things going like niggly things going wrong. It's not major things. It could be like, you know, little things that trip you up around the home, like breakages and stuff like that, that might need attention in order to fix them. Or it could be that, hang on a minute, you need to be an independent woman or feminine energy. If you're a man, this can still apply to you, because I think of the tarot as being a little bit like non-binary, because we all have masculine and feminine energy inside us. And I think it's only our outward manifestations that are projecting, whether we're male or female or whatever gender we relate to. So I think when we talk about this woman in the card, it's just a feminine energy. It's not necessarily the personification of a physical woman. So you've either got problems in the home perhaps, or you're being told to be that independent lady, be that independent divine feminine, make your own decisions, pay your own bills. But obviously, if somebody comes along that wants to literally pay your bills, who are we to say no? That sounds dreadful, doesn't it? You know what I mean, though. I'm going to go with number 1. Number 1, okay, we've got the Knight of Pentacles, and that's reversed. So this card can sometimes mean that you're feeling a little bit dull, like there's a stagnation in affairs, and it can, because it's Pentacles, it's often talking about grounded things like work, finances, things that make us feel secure, like our house, the roof over our heads, our ability to pay our bills, the money that's coming in our job. And it feels like this, a knight is about an event, and when it's upside down, it's like an obstacle, an event that feels like it's stagnating. It feels like there's no movement there. So it can feel like you're stuck a little bit. This would be, say, this card might be relevant if you were feeling particularly like stuck in a rut at work, or if you were trying to sell your home and it just wasn't moving. And what this card, I think the message of this card to you is that you need to change how you're approaching something in order for you to change the outcome, if that makes sense. So this night, when he's the right way up, it's talking about resilience and being determined, an event happening which is sort of unfolding slowly, but you know the wheels are in motion and you've put them in motion by doing certain things. Okay, it's a very grounded, you've been pragmatic, you've moved things forward by taking certain actions, carrying out certain things. When it's upside down, it's like it's reminding you that, okay, you're stuck in a rut a little bit. What you've been trying to do in order to move forward just hasn't manifested. It's just not working out. So you need to try to look at a plan B, okay? Try to think of a different way to approach something. Why don't we go back and have a look at our reversed Hierophant here, who's a major arcana card, so he's very, very powerful. So perhaps you need to try an alternative approach, an unorthodox way of looking at something. Now, this is me speculating here because I'm connecting with the Hierophant, but it would seem to make sense that if something's not working and you're trying to do it the way that you usually would, perhaps you should try to do something that you might not have thought of initially. Try to tackle something in a different way. Try it from a different approach, okay? In order to manifest that full night energy and to move the event forward in the way that you would want it to move forward. And again, let me remind you that this is particularly referring to financial affairs, work things, stability, that sort of practical stability that we all need in order to function. Because it would be lovely if we could all just be free spirited individuals that live in the hills and have no need for jobs and cars and houses and things like that. But in the real world, we actually do, and not many of us have the opportunity to just, hot foot it off to Tibet and live among the monks as a free spirit and give away all our belongings, and that makes us happy. Because unfortunately, when we do that in the Western world, we tend to end up with a bit of a problem. So I forget what I was talking about there or what my point was, as usual, but I think it's so your message is tackle these things from a different viewpoint. Try something different in order to clear that blockage that this Knight of Pentacles reversed is representing. Number two. Okay, right, we've got the Eight of Pentacles. This is talking about you've used some skills that you have really, really well. So it's about teaching, it's about education. So it can be, if you're thinking about starting a new course or looking at training to do something new, then this would be a card that said, yes, do that, because it's got a portal on it. And what this card symbolizes is that in learning this new skill, and we've got another stonemason on the go here. The tarot loves grapes, mountains, stonemasons, this sort of symbolism that runs through. We've got this guy who's a stonemason, and he's sitting and he's making all these fabulous pentacles. And what he's doing is he's mastering a skill. He's not the apprentice anymore. He's become the master. And when he's acquired that skill, he's now able to go through this doorway here. So it feels like you're being encouraged to accept that you have mastered skills, all right? If you have skills that you're not using, it's time to put them to good use, all right? If you are waiting to go for a promotion at work, for example, but you've been holding back thinking maybe I don't have the right experience, or maybe I'm not what they're looking for, or if you've been trying to get a new job but you're thinking, maybe I'm not good enough for that, this card would be saying to you, you have these skills, utilize them to go through the porthole, I just called it a portal, not a porthole. Porthole's in a ship, isn't it? But a portal, it's a portal to better things. And you see that is signified by the blue sky behind. So it's encouraging you to use your skills. You are the master of your skills. Trust in them. Have the confidence in your abilities that other people around you have. And that will take you through the portal to the blue skies of the future, to the sort of better place. this can also, as I said to start with, this card is also about training and education in a way that if you're like, well, I haven't got the skills yet because I haven't actually, I haven't learned what I need to learn, but I have been thinking about doing it. Well, this card again would be that encouragement to go, all right, you have the potential to develop these skills. So if you've been considering education or training or moving into that sphere, then do so, because it's all about learning and using learning to progress to better things. So if you've chosen that card today, that was number 2, wasn't it? Let me know if that resonates with you, because it's a beautiful card and it's got a beautiful outcome as well. I love a portal card, I really do. Number 3. Gosh, we're motoring through them today. Number 3, you've got the High Priestess, but she's reversed. So what this card says, it's all about intuition. Our High Priestess is the divine feminine. The divine feminine has this inbuilt knowledge and way of just knowing. It's that womanly instinct, female instinct, knowing, and that intuition, being in touch with your feelings and being able to discern what is your feelings and what is your emotions and what is your true voice of your intuition. Okay, now because this is upside down, it's saying that there is a situation that you're dealing with at the moment where perhaps you should be listening to your inner voice and following your intuition rather than relying on making a decision using just your logical mind or just your heart, because we can all be over emotional about decisions, especially when they involve emotions, especially when we are emotionally involved or invested with somebody and we have to make a decision about them, and we just make it with our heart, don't we? Or we can make a decision like that with our heads, because we can think, I know that I feel like this about it, but logically I should do this, and you end up following your head. Now your intuition isn't your head or your heart, it's your gut. So what this card invites you to do is not to get emotionally involved with a decision and not to get logically involved with a decision, but to go with your gut. And if you want to know what your gut is telling you, it's that feeling, when you go down in a lift. I always use this because it sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But it's like, it's that feeling, that sinking, where you get that feeling. Or it's, when you get a shock, like if you're driving the car, if you're a passenger and it's like, oh, something like jumps out on you and you feel it in your stomach. It's that where you feel it there, that is your gut instinct. It's that reptilian older part of your brain that kicks in, that it's like sends your adrenaline to places. And I believe that that's your gut intelligence as well. And there's a lot of studies now that have found, I was reading about this the other day, and they found, like, I think it's cells that you only get in your actual brain are the only other place you find them are in your gut. So it's like they're starting to think that your gut, strange as it sounds, has this sort of rationale. It almost thinks for itself. And so that's how I think, all right, think with your gut, and I feel like it's a deeper, more ancient brain, because, and I'm sort of digressing here, and I do apologize if you don't want to hear me waffle on, but I'm going to say this one thing. I think, like when we lived in caves and thousands of years ago, we didn't think logically about things, did we? And we might have been emotionally, but certainly not logically, because we followed our instinct. And like animals, how do, like, swallows know to migrate? How do animals have this inbuilt sense of danger, or they know when there's earthquakes coming and things like this? We hear all the time about, dogs know when their owner's due home, and they have an instinct, and we seem willing to accept that animals have an instinct. And yet when people talk to each other about instinct, it's like, yeah, that's so woo-woo and that doesn't really exist. But it absolutely does, and you can see it working all the time. And so many people just don't follow their instinct, and afterwards they're like, God, if only I'd listened to that little voice inside me. Yeah, Kirsty, your gut is your second brain. And that's how I see it as well. And this card, getting back to the card, is saying, listen to your gut, listen to that second brain about a decision that you have to make, because it's right in this instinct. And good morning to Namira in the Netherlands. And Mandy, I'm pleased that number 2 resonates with you. That's lovely. And Kumzil, am I reading that right? Kumzil, hello to you too. Where are you from, Kumzeel? Don't think I've seen you on in the chat before, so welcome if you're a new viewer, and I hope that you come back. So back to the cards. Where are we? Number 4. Number 4, beautiful, beautiful. We have the Queen of Pentacles. So the Queen of Pentacles is, now when this is a court card, this can be yourself or it can be somebody that you encounter over the next 24 hours or something. The Queen of Pentacles is, she's really on top of her finances. She's like the Nine of Pentacles woman who's independent and makes her own decisions. She is just like that, but she's even more sovereign. She's even more in control. She's often somebody in a position of leadership and somebody that ensures the financial prosperity of other people around her, as well as looking after her family. So if you've chosen number 4, this, it could be saying to you, if this is you, it's like, okay, put your crown back on, okay, because you're in charge of the family, you're in charge of maintaining and providing for your family, and you're able. I think that's the key word with this card. It's like, don't ever for a moment feel that you are not capable of taking charge of the things around you and managing. This is like the card of the single mother who is like on top of everything, is working that job, is looking after the kids, is keeping on top of the house. She's very, very able to do things. But sometimes, of course, you can become disillusioned and just think, oh, I just wish somebody else was around to make these decisions for me. And that's our Nine of Pentacles reversed energy coming through. It's like wanting somebody else to make those decisions. But this card is like, oh, no, no, no. You make those decisions because you are the queen. And in fact, the queen knows best, and the queen's going to make the right decisions. So if that's your card today, that could be your energy. Similarly, remember, this is just one card, so I can't actually tell if it's you or if it's somebody else around you. Could be somebody that you encounter. And likely, if this is somebody that you encounter, it could be an earth sign. It could be a Capricorn, a Virgo, a Taurus, or somebody with that sort of earth energy. And that earth energy is somebody who's grounded. Somebody who doesn't get carried away with flights of fantasy, doesn't sort of get emotionally over invested in things and talk sort of, over emotionally about things. It's somebody who considers their options. And if you ask them for advice, they're likely to weigh up the pros and cons of before they give you advice, so they don't just immediately react. They really think about things. So if this isn't you and it's somebody else, then you'd be well placed to take the advice of this person, because it feels like they are somebody who is there to give you advice, and it feels like they're supposed to be in your path. So there's 2 ways that you can take this card. Good morning, Robert Bruce. How are you doing? I know another Robert Bruce. I don't know if you are that Robert Bruce or not. Either way, good morning. Good morning, Helena. How are you doing? Sorry, I'm just reading the chat here. I haven't reached that kind of YouTube mastery where I can talk and read the chat at the same time. So anyway, that's our Queen of Pentacles energy. It's a great card, whether this is you, whether it's somebody else that you come across. It's about that being sovereign, being in charge, making those decisions and making the right decisions as well. Of course, obviously, that would be if you've got a big decision to make, then that's a really good card as well to get if you resonating with that card, if you chose that card. Should give you some confidence, that Sagittarian moon confidence, that you're emboldened and should push forward. Number 5. Right, we've got the 5 of Pentacles reversed. So this card, when it's this way up, talks about a loss, and it's usually like a financial loss or loss of security, loss of home, loss of like feeling of security around you. When it's upside down, it usually sort of indicates that there's money coming back to you, or what you have lost will return to you, or it's like a turn of fate. So when it's this way up, it feels like, your money is running through your hands and you pay out one thing and then something else happens, and then it's like, this constant sort of things being taken from you. But when we're reversing that energy, I like to think of it in terms of sort of not even high school physics. It's much younger than that, because I wasn't intelligent enough to do physics at that level. It's like when you do physics when you're really, really young and you learn about opposing forces. And when it's that way up, it goes one way, and when it's the other way up, it goes the other way. It's like a seesaw, isn't it? When this is this way up, it's like the things that you have lost are returning to you. The things that you feel have been taken from you are starting to come back. So if you have been experiencing a sense of loss recently and you've chosen card number 5, then it feels like that energy is changing around for you, and it's coming back. This card can also mean that if you've been sort of unemployed, you've had that loss of income, loss of employment, this card can also signal the arrival of a new job or a change of job, which means that the finances improve. So it's a really good card, and it can sometimes people find it difficult to sort of think about reversals if you read reversals in tarot, because usually a reversal is a negative, but when it's a negative card, of course, the reversal can be a positive. Not always, some cards are different, but in general, it's sort of a reversal of that particular energy. So we're talking about money gained, money coming to you, your security improving, your sense of loss diminishing. And this can also apply to, I think, if you feel a sense of loss in general about, you've lost out in childhood, or you feel that things that you've had done to you in the past have had a negative effect on you. When this card comes out, it's like that energy's turning around, and you're able to see things as the things that happened to you in childhood. They're there for a reason, and they've created the person that stands looking at you in the mirror today. It's like they were supposed to happen. They've given you the strength that you have now that enables you to tackle each bump in the road and overcome it, because each bump in the road can feel like a massive hurdle, and you have to remind yourself of all those other bumps that have felt like massive hurdles, and you've got over each single time. You've managed to do it. So we're going to employ that Sagittarian moon energy today, thinking about, you're so bold, you've got to be so confident, and you've got to believe that these things are coming back to you, and everything happens for a reason. All right, it can't all be light. We have to have darkness too. It's there for a reason, but yours is turning around, and the light is coming back to you today. How do you support the channel? Super sticker. No, I can't take super stickers. I don't take super stickers. You can support my channel, Carly, by just watching me and turning up. That would be fantastic. Right, number 6. Oh, we've got a lovely card to finish on. We have got the King of Wands, and the King of Wands, like his, I'm just looking because didn't we have we had the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, not the Queen of Wands. The King of Wands is the leader of the gang, okay? So he is somebody who is in charge, somebody who is a great leader, and somebody who has the vision for the future. Now, Wands is about that fiery nature. Wands is fire, and Wands is energy, and the king is on top of the pile of all that energy. So again, let's go back to the Sagittarius confidence, being bold. This king is all about confidence, being bold, pushing things forward, being the leader, not sitting back and letting other people make your decisions, taking you back to the Nine of Pentacles here. We don't need other people to make our decisions. When this energy is around us, we know we're in charge, and we are capable. Oh yes, we are. We are so capable. And just like the Queen of Pentacles, who is the woman in charge, the King of Wands is like the male energy, but it's more to do with not so much finances. It's more to do with just that drive. It can be about creative drive as well. It's knowing the way forward, not necessarily to do with finances and jobs, like Pentacles are very, very grounded. Wands is about that energy, knowing the right way to go for yourself, taking you back again to the Hierophant reverse, that alternative path, but having the confidence to walk your own path, having the confidence not to listen to somebody else going, that's the wrong way to do that. You don't want to be doing that. Let's take a leaf from the Four of Swords reversed, which is that energy to get up and get on with it. The King of Wands would be that energy, all right? So once you've been tipped out of the bed of procrastination, you take the King of Wands energy and move forward. And actually this also applies to that Knight of Pentacles. If you got the Knight of Pentacles, which was number 1, which is that stagnated energy, what you need is the King of Wands to infuse you with with that energy for making decisions in the future. And I'm just reading Kirsty's message there. Yeah, making decisions for the future. It's having that confidence and having that energy, because I think this is just my viewpoint here. It's always better to regret something that you've done than something that you just didn't even bother trying, isn't it? Because I think we have to learn, and it's like having a vision, having a life path. Yes, Kirsty, definitely. It's having that vision, having confidence, trying things. Because rather try something and it not work than just to sit and think, oh, well, in years to come, I wish I'd done that, like all those years ago when I thought about it. I wish I'd had the confidence to try this, or to do this, or to try something new, or to take a new direction, or to go against the flow. I wish I'd had the confidence to do that. The King of Wands is saying, you have the ability, you have the leadership, you are sovereign over yourself and other people. Take those bold steps, because the King's energy is really encouraging you to do so. Which is a beautiful card to finish on. So I really enjoyed today's readings, and I think it's been like a really positive reading in general, and that ties in with the planetary alignments for the day, doesn't it? That Sagittarius moon, which is trining Venus and Neptune in Aries, because Aries is such a planet of, it's another fire. So we've got Sagittarius fire, we've got Aries fire, and they're making you feel bold. And it's like that King of Wands, Wands is fire. It's channeling the energy, channeling the fire, and putting it to good use and moving you forward and enabling you to stop procrastinating, stop holding yourself back. And that also takes me to that other card that we had, yeah, the Eight of Pentacles, yeah, which was number 2. Trust yourself, take yourself through that portal, like take on your skills, like have a bit of like confidence, yeah. And as Kirsty says in the chat, even failure is a lesson. Okay, thank you for being here with me this morning. It's been a lovely reading, and I feel really positive now. And now I'm going to try and contact my daughter, because it's her 21st birthday, and I've been trying to phone her since 7:30 this morning, but of course she has not woken up yet. I believe she might have been out partying last night. So I'm going to try and contact her and to wish her a happy birthday. And she's up here with me because she's at university a long way away at the moment. And she is up here at the weekend when I will be taking her out. And Susie, I've just noticed that you've put on the end of the chat here, have I got anything for you? I'm just going to, because I don't think I've got any other questions. And so we'll just give that a whirl, shall we? We'll have a look at a quick 3-card reading here, and I'm going to have to give these cards a really good shuffle. So I'm going to do that. I'll just be quiet for a bit and stop blathering on. So we're looking for some insight for Susie here. Thank you, Namira. Yeah, 21, eh? Fancy being 21 again. Oh, the things I would do differently, I can tell. Like, and I've made so many mistakes in my life, but you know, we all have, and it's like, at least I was able to make those mistakes. At least I had choice. There are people who don't have choice, aren't there, and don't get to make their own mistakes because they're constrained and restricted in what they can actually try. So thank God I was in the environment that enabled me to make those wrong choices and to go down all these wrong paths, because you know, all these things make us stronger, don't they? And they're all lessons that we are privileged. We're privileged to be able to make our own decisions, aren't we? So Susie, I'm looking for some insight for Susie. Okay, here we go. Right, so okay, so we have a card of balance here. So it feels like at the moment you're having to balance things. You might be having to juggle quite a lot of things, and it feels like you're having to call on a pool of inner strength. It's like things have taken a lot out of you recently, and you've had quite a few things on your plate, and it could be that you're having to deal with things for other people as well, and having to pulled somebody else up, so you're having to be the strong person, you're having to deal with somebody else's problems as well, but there's a lot on your plate at the moment. But it feels like you've employed this inner strength, and that is the strength card, which is all about resilience and strength, and it feels like you've had to use a lot of that in order to keep these plates spinning, because notice these are still spinning, so it's not as if they've fallen all over the ground, but it feels like you have felt at times that you're on the verge of dropping everything because things are going faster and faster and faster. It's that analogy of when you watch somebody who's on a treadmill and it gets faster and faster, and then eventually they just fly off the back because it's got too fast for them. And it feels like you are, I'm just pulling another clarifier here, it feels like this has been the start of something. So it's really taken you back from starting something for yourself, because you've had so much to juggle, and what you've got in front of you is moving to something for yourself. A Two of Wands is starting a new project or something, and it's focused on, if you look at this man, he has the world in his hands, and if you can see that, it's like the world is your oyster, the globe is in your hands. So what these cards are telling you is to put down some of those responsibilities, okay? Put down those plates, allow them to fall on the floor. You don't need to pick them up again, because you're moving forward, okay? What you have in front of you is the world, and then the final card, I pulled a clarifier for you, which is the world. So it's talking about you taking on new plans, new opportunities, realizing that you still have the world in your hand. You can go back to plans that you had before you felt like life got too much, like you took on too many responsibilities. It's before that you can go back to what you thought before that. It's like there's still you inside of that. You can still go forward because the world is still in front of you, and that's for you yourself, not for somebody else that you're carrying all this weight for. And by the way, you're doing a really good job of doing that. I've just seen in the chat there, your sister has breast cancer. I'm really sorry to hear that, and you're all that she's got, and I totally understand that as well. So it does feel like you've got weight on your shoulders, but I think now with that bit of extra knowledge, looking back at those cards, it feels like you could be being told there that yes, you're doing really well with that, but can we put that to one side as well and also focus on something for you, and looking at the world is still in your hands, okay? You still have things that you need to achieve for yourself, and that world card at the end of that reading there is talking about these new horizons. You've still got a lot more to come, and it's also a very positive outcome card as well for you, Susie Q. So I hope that resonates with you, and all the best to your sister. I had cancer last year, so I know what a journey it is, and I'm still on it, so I know it's terrifying, and thank God for the people around us that support us. And my support is my daughter, whose 21st it is today. So I'm all filling up with tears now, because I'm looking forward to seeing her so much at the weekend. We're going to have some mum and daughter time. So much love to you all. Thank you for being here with me this morning, and I hope that you'll come back tomorrow morning at 10:30 UK time, and we get to do this all again. So I'll see you tomorrow. Take care and stay weird.